The book of Job probably raises more questions than it answers. Many people have a problem with God's treatment of Job. And we have to admit, it looks unfair. We're told it's unfair in the first verse of the chapter. It tells us outright that Job was a blameless man. And then God hands him over to Satan to essentially win a bet. What gives? Some people think Job was written to tell us why the righteous suffer. If it was, it fails, because it never answers that question. Job himself is never told why he goes through this suffering. In fact, despite everything God put him through, the only thing he's told at the end is that he has no right to question God. He's never given a resolution to his question of why. In fact, we're given more information than he is, and even we don't fully understand it. Like, why is God even giving Satan the time of day? Why is God making bets with Satan? Why does God allow our loved ones to get cancer? Why does God allow natural disasters like hurricanes and earthquakes? Why didn't God stop COVID-19 from killing thousands and wrecking the economy? Why did God allow the Star Wars sequels to be filmed? Like Job, we're never given the full answers to these questions, and probably never will. So some people, Christian and non-Christian, have a really hard time with God's treatment of Job in this book. Many have questioned the entire faith because they couldn't reconcile this book. But let's imagine that we could ask Job, right now, whether it was worth it to keep trusting in God despite all those losses. If you could interview Job right now, what do you think he would tell you? He'd tell you, I've been happier than you've ever been for thousands of years. He'd tell you, I'll continue being happier for an eternity more. He'd say, sure, what I went through back on earth was hard for a few years, but that's nothing in comparison with the state of joy that I now have for forever. Yes, his kids died, but he's now been reunited with them in heaven for thousands of years, as well as the other 10 children he had afterwards. And he doesn't care about cattle or property damage from thousands of years ago. We care about those things more than he does. If you could talk to Job, he'd tell you not to give up your faith because of something you're suffering through right now. And he'd certainly tell you not to give up your faith because of what you read in his book. He'd tell you that your momentary sufferings are just that, momentary. And he'd tell you they're nothing in light of the eternal joy you'll find on the day you enter God's presence. He'd tell you, don't give up. This has been Luke Taylor. Whatever you're doing today, look at it with an eternal perspective.